All right, I'm going to try to do this on the first run. This is a 2008 Jeep Wrangler. I'm going to replace the transmission on the wiper blades. I just purchased my transmission yesterday. I paid more than I should have at the local auto parts store, but got to do what you got to do, right? So I thought it was going to be a big deal. I've already pre-started this. You got to take these wiper blades off first, the arms. Pretty easy to do. I've already loosened everything up. And so what happened was one of my blades moves freely. I thought, oh boy, something bad's happened. So I did a little digging, which is what we Jeep people do. I've already loosened this up. It has 6 bolts in it. You can get to it from up here or under the hood. It's easier under the hood, especially when you get down to the plastic support piece under it. Morning. Here's the transmission. It's this part that goes across here. This is the arm that fell off. I can put it back on, but it's just going to fall off again. Motor sits on there. A couple of bolts here. I've not pre-loosened this, so let's see how hard it's going to be. What's that? Looks like a 10 maybe. And 10 it is. Alright, this is going to be a little rush. I got to get to class, so I'm hoping to get this done before I got to leave. By the way, while I'm doing this, I got this new cover because I like riding with my top and doors off, and that cover is from Wrangler. Let me tell you, that thing is nice. Now, they're not my sponsor or anything, but thought I'd just give them a shout out. All right, one of those bolts are out. Second one's out. Looks like this is going to be the hardest part here, is getting this off. And if I can remember or know which way it goes, we'll figure it out. There we go. And out she comes. Look at that. All right, some torque bolts on the back. Looks like it's labeled, so I'll know which way to put it back in. Let's get the new one out. Now, see, I saw online there's a couple of kits you can get to replace those plastic grommets. But to be honest with you, sometimes it's easier just to put a new one in versus trying to put old crap back in. It's going to fall apart on you. All right, give me a second. I'm going to open this up. All right, I got them laid out now. I use this cardboard that came in, kind of keep everything clean. So it's got Torx bits on there. The size I'm using is a size too small, but it seems to work all right. Alright, I had to get my wrench back out. It's not a size 10. I was hoping they would use the same size. right, there it is. Size 12 on that one, I believe. Yeah, size 12. All right, gotta pull this arm out somehow to get to that back screw. I just pried it out with my handle. All right, motor's out. Set that aside. Get it lined up. Everything's going on pretty easy. I always tighten everything down sequentially. I don't put it all on at one time. All right, do my GT torque. That's about how much pressure it took me to get it off. All right, now we gotta see how this baby's lined up. All right, this is going to take a little experimenting. So give me a second. I'm going to pause you again. Okay, I don't know for certain, but I don't think it matters how you put this on because it's going to learn. Apparently. So let's give it a shot. I'm quickly running out of time here. So I'm going to try to hurry this along. Hopefully don't miss a step. Alright, so now that's GT on torque. I got the assembly back together. It pretty much goes in just like it came out. Just drop it right in. Oh, if you do it the right way. See there? You can't put it in backwards, so makes it pretty easy. All right, let's get these bolts back in. Okay, for the sake of time, I'm going to pause it while I get that bolted in. Okay, I pretty much got it back together. Alright, I'm not real sure what the torque is on there. It's got those rubber bushings on it to allow it to move and flex a little bit, so I'm not going to get too crazy with torquing those down. I'll check it a little bit later, because it's going to be easy enough for me to get back to this. So that's back in, and now I'm going to put the wiper arms on there, just so I can get it adjusted to where it needs to be. Alright, took me a minute to figure it out. I made it a lot harder than it should have been. So that arm needs to be, the arm on the motor needs to be pointed towards the driver's side. And then that will put the blade in the rest position, and it'll start sweeping up on the first stroke instead of sweeping down if you have it pointed to the other side, which can be ugly. But that seems to be the hardest part of this. Otherwise, 2 bolts to pull it out. See, one over here and one on the other side, and just rest on that grommet right there beneath the motor. The motor has 3 Torx screws that fit on it. I used a 10, a 12, and a 13 to do the job. 13s are on the wiper blades. 12 is on the back of the motor arm, the transmission arm rather. There where the driver's side and passenger side wiper rods go. The wiper rods go to the wiper blades and turn those up and down. So let me pause this and I'll start putting some more stuff together. Alright, so I was able to get it adjusted. There's this black plastic piece back behind here, and I'll show you on the other side. Now that fits, it doesn't really fit inside the blade, but it's supposed to fit in the blade to kind of add as a cover or a boot to kind of hide everything behind it. I had to whittle that down a little bit to get it to fit inside the wiper arm. So that was really the second hardest thing. The hardest for me was to figure out where that arm was supposed to go. Had mine not been broken, I could have seen it, but since it was broken and everything had moved, it was hard for me to know without trial and error. So I adjusted it to where I've got my blade on here, and this is something I just found out, is that the arm doesn't actually latch down until you start tightening that nut. So it allows you to get the wiper blade where you want it on the window. Now this wiper blade shot, but I got it where I want it to be. So I turn it on, and it parks where it's supposed to park. No downward sweep, or a little minute downward sweep. I suppose if I wanted to spend a little more time on that arm down there, I could fix that to get it to where it has no downward sweep at all, but it's pretty minimal. Alright, now of course you don't want to put both of them on, because you've got to put your cowl on first. And I would think putting the plastic piece back on the cowl first and then mounting everything together. It's got these a mess of these plastic pins that are hard to, you know how they are. They're not very easy to get in and out. Sometimes they break. But at the local AutoZone, I was able to pick up a new tool kit. I didn't get to use it on this one, but this is probably something we all need anyway. It's got all the tools we need to pull off the plastic rivets. I ended up using a wrench. Once that was in there, these wrenches made it pretty easy to get that motor tightened down. And really, all I got to do is I'm going to pull this blade off. I'll whittle the other side down so it'll fit inside the blade. Put the cowl back on, and then line my blades up, tighten them down, and we should be good to go. I did this video because I couldn't find any information on how to do it, and it looked pretty hard. I thought I was going to have to start tearing underneath stuff, but it really just all lifts out. Jeep did a really good job on building these vehicles, as you know. Everything kind of works, or it's built for your garage mechanic, which is very nice. Thank you, Jeep.